So there's a whole sort of unspoken communication which occurs sort of chest to chest and arm to arm, hand to hand. So it's quite a magical experience, but it's absolutely captivating to be part of it. And I think that unspoken communication in concert with the music, if you like, is at the heart of it. So for more than 30 years I was a teacher, a school teacher, mainly in the north of England, but also I spent a year teaching in Mexico. I have been dancing tango for just about 20 years, but 2 years after I started tango I was diagnosed with Parkinson's. So the first sign really was my handwriting, which had always been beautiful, big handwriting, got smaller and smaller. And at the same time I had what felt like a sort of dead arm on the right side. And one of my colleagues at work said, "You really need to go to the doctor." I think she must have known. She must have spotted the signs, really. And I went to the GP, and I think similarly he spotted the signs, because he got me to sign a piece of paper so he could see my handwriting. And then he said, I'm 99% sure you have Parkinson's. I'm going to go away and leave you to think about that for a few minutes. And I just had a little cry, sat in the room, and then he came back, and then I went back to work. Over the years my balance deteriorated. I suffered from a lot of fatigue, which made teaching very difficult. My school was very supportive. They gave me, they allowed me to reduce my hours and gave me lots of support. Gradually it just proved too much. So, and meanwhile I was managing to dance, but I never felt really very confident, and I think probably my balance has always been an issue, you know. I think it all centres on the embrace. It's a dance, as a social dance, essentially a dance of close embrace, and it's not choreographed. You don't learn a sequence. Well, when you begin, you learn a sequence of steps, but very quickly that sequence of steps sort of drops away, and you figure out what to do in communication with your partner. So there's a whole sort of unspoken communication which occurs sort of chest to chest and arm to arm, hand to hand, also through the music. So it's quite a magical experience, but it's absolutely captivating to be part of it. So I haven't ever found tango classes specifically for people with Parkinson's. So it's felt very important over the years to be part of a mainstream community, you know. The whole community. In Cambridge there's a very sort of strong tradition of a tango community now, which feels very supportive. And then I found these two particular teachers who are based where I dance now, and they were, you know, I already knew that tango was supposed to be particularly good for people with Parkinson's, and they were very keen to explore with me exactly how that worked. And we started off by writing an article which kind of grew, you know, and grew eventually into a book. Yeah, and several drafts down the line that was published 2 years ago. So the book is called The Tango Effect, subtitled Parkinson's and the Healing Power of Dance. It takes the form of it's a memoir really, and it traces the impact of the dance over a year. So there's a chapter for each month, on a particular theme, and it tells the story really of my tango beginnings, and it gives a little bit of background on Parkinson's. There's a chapter on the music of tango, which I'm disappointed with. I know an awful lot more about the music now than I did when I wrote the book. So that's, if I ever get around to a second edition, that'll be where I'll start, because I actually DJ for tango now as well as dancing. Anyway, so there's also, I look at the various benefits, the kind of physical impact of tango on Parkinson's, and the psychological, social, emotional. Well, the physical side is, I suppose, is the obvious place to start. So it's a really difficult dance for a start, and because it involves multitasking. That's something that people with Parkinson's find really difficult. Trying to do more than one thing at the same time is a real challenge. So that in itself is of benefit, and there's something about the degree of challenge which makes it particularly powerful somehow. It asks all the things from a dancer that people with Parkinson's can't do. Like, it requires balance. That's the first requirement, which is completely shot if you have Parkinson's. It requires good posture, which is also a real challenge. And then it requires you to be able to step confidently, to initiate movement and respond to movement, to turn, to twist, to pivot, to negotiate your partner's feet. All of these things are challenges for people with Parkinson's and have been looked at in research. So for example, there's one study in the States that looks at stride length and gait in people with Parkinson's, and the results are sort of small scale, but quietly confirming, I think, that tango is a benefit.
Can I ask, how do you keep yourself motivated?
It sounds really cliched, but just kind of keep going, keep active, because otherwise, what would you do? If I didn't do what I did, what would I do? I'd just sit there. So I think, I just think there's so much to do, so much I want to do. I would recommend anybody with Parkinson's. I'd recommend anybody with or without Parkinson's to dance, to find out about it. And I think tango is really worth the pain, really worth the effort.